Hey folks, welcome to the Working with Shared Components chapter. Read me first, actually watch me first. I just want to highlight some of the things that are very common to the shared library components. Hopefully answer some questions ahead of time and make your life a lot easier. Because the shared components share a lot of the same characteristics, we can make massive changes to the entire site quickly and easily. Let's take a look at some of the things I want to talk about in the Read Me first. Changes to library pages and publishing. I want to talk about hiding and removing shared components via the CSS or the style sheets, hiding and removing the shared components manually through an individual page, repositioning components through a style sheet, and repositioning components through an individual page. Let's start off with changes to the library pages and publishing. I'm going to go to the site for a second. This is the library folder. These are the shared components. So basically anything in here, pretty much all of this information, all these components are located in the header or the top of the page, except for, of course, the footer. That's located at the bottom. Makes sense. But if you make a change to any of these library pages, it updates all the pages. And how a library page works is simple. There's a special bit of code called an include or an embed. It takes the content from your website name page, for example, and embeds this content into all the web pages right here. Okay, if I were to examine the index page, for example, I scroll on down and I see that there's my website name, and using this little bit of code right here, we take the website name library page and we embed it into this page. So when it's viewed in a web browser, this code is actually replaced with the content from the library page here. Now the way library pages work in Microsoft editors is they serve to update the local, they're called client side. They'll update your local pages. They will not update pages on the web server. In other words, you could not make a change to the website name.html library page, publish that one page, publish this website name page up to your server, and hope it would update the pages in your server. It won't work that way. It will only update the pages in your local folder here. Whenever you make a change to a library page, you must publish any page that is used in that particular library page. And it's safest to say all of your pages do, so you need to republish all of your web pages up to the server in order for that change to take effect. You don't need to republish the entire site. You can simply select the pages that were updated, like so, right click and publish selected files. That's one way. There's probably 20 different ways to publish. We'll cover that in the final chapter because there are so many different ways to publish files up to a site. But needless to say, whenever you make a change to anything within the shared or even the sliders folder, you must republish those pages. Safest to say, just republish your site up to the server. Next, I want to talk about hiding and removing shared components via CSS. There are times when you perhaps have a component, but you don't want to display it right away. For example, maybe you have a Google search, but you haven't set up the Google search yet, so you don't want that displayed in your web page. And you want to display it sometime later on though. So you don't want to remove it and have to go back and try and figure out how to put it back in the page. You can actually hide it via the style sheet. So if we were to open up the site, styles, styles.css, and we're going to scroll down a little bit here and we're going to look for a section called header components. These are the shared components, right? And in here you'll see text links, phone, graphic, website name, tagline. Everything that's listed in your shared folder here will show up in here. Pretty much everything. All right. There's the Google search. Position absolute. Let's say, for example, we did not want this displayed. There's a very simple way of doing that. You just sort of find the last property for that particular style, put your cursor, for example, at the end of the semicolon, hit the enter key, and type in the word visibility. And usually when you start typing VIS, visibility will show up in the list. Just double click it, select hidden. Enter a semicolon. Type in the word display, DIS, if you spell it right, and then you hit the colon key, and then you scroll down to, or type in the word none, N, there we go, see there it is, we hit that, and bang. So visibility hidden, display none. When you add that as a style in the style sheet, it will actually turn that component off in the page completely. It will not be rendered by the browser. When you want it when you want it to finally be displayed, you simply remove it. So that's an easy way to hide certain components site-wide until you're ready to use them. Now you can also remove a component from an individual page. So let's say, for example, the index page here. You could remove a component from the index page alone. Right? Let's say, for example, we didn't want the search on the index page, but we're happy to have it in other pages. We could just simply select we go into the code view, right? Or you could actually start by going to the design view, and sometimes these components don't display here, so it's hard to see, especially when my video window is so small. It's very tricky here. I'm trying to keep things nice and compact. But let's say let's say we just go back to the code view. Because everything is commented for you here, it makes complete sense when you start looking at it. We have commented every single shared library item with an opening and a closing comment tag, so you know where to start and you know where to end. So if you want to remove something, for example the Google search, you'd find the search tag, that's the opening comment tag, and that's the closing comment tag. You just select top and bottom, so the two comment tags are selected along with everything in between, and you'd hit delete and it's removed from the page just like so. And that's all you have to do to get rid of it from this one particular page. I'm just going to put that back in there. Okay, now going back to our style sheet, let's say we want to reposition the search in the page. Well, everything is positioned, at least for the desktop view, it's positioned absolutely. Okay, and we see the Google search, it's a top and a right. If we wanted it further from the top, we'd just simply increase the number of pixels. If we wanted it further from the right, we'd increase. If we wanted it closer to the right, we'd decrease. Right? So you can see in terms of positioning with CSS, there's going to be a top and a right or a left. In this case, we have a left for the social icons, as you can see. If you want something positioned further from the top, you use a larger number. If you want it positioned closer to the top, you use a smaller number. If you want it further to the left or right, you just change it. And basically the best thing to do is preview your page in your browser, make the tweaks to your top and your left or right positioning, refresh the browser, see if it looks good, and then go back and tweak it a little bit more. Now you can also position things in the page directly itself. Don't really suggest this, but you could. Right, I just jumped back over to the page. Let's say, for example, now we wanted to position the Google search in the index page somewhere else in the header, but we wanted all the other pages to be the same. Well, you could, and how you do it, I'm going to show you here a little trick here. You find the div ID of the search component, and you see that it's in double quotes. Put your cursor between the final double quote here and the ending bracket, just like you see in the video. Hit the enter key, type in the word style. Okay. And this is a bit of an overview on how to do manual or inline styles as well. So type in the word style and type in the word top, like so. And then give it a number, 30px. Right? If you wanted a different left or right position, then you could carry on by adding a semicolon and left and 20px. Finish it off with a semicolon and you're done. It's called an inline style. Basically, whenever you use the word style equals and the property, you can manually move things around in a page if you want to. Now, the best way to use that is to stick with the old shortcut key, and that's why I was showing you that method there, is just to hit the space bar, and as long as you can remember the word style, S-T-Y-L-E, and hit enter, then it's going to give you all the different things you can do, right? And if you remember that positioning is a top and a left or right property, just type in the word top and it actually shows up down here, and then it gives you a length. You can use the shortcut tool to pick a length, right? 20px, it does that for you. Great. Semicolon, what else do I want? Right, R-I-G, there we go. Pick a length, 30px, and there we go. Now the cool thing with left and right is you can actually use a negative number. You could use a negative 30 if you wanted to. And it really depends on your situation and what you're looking at in your page and what component that you're positioning. But just want to throw that your way. The same with the top. You could use a negative positioning on the top as well.